No two situations of abuse are ever the same. So we encourage you to talk to your team lead whenever there is question of abuse. You are legally required to report abuse if you have any suspicion at all.
Hey, my name is John Gartley. I'm the director of Southern Alberta Bible Camp. This video is full of information that will help you as you make decisions regarding abuse. I encourage you to take courage and to step forward with any information that you may have. We have a legal obligation to step forward and take action. I also encourage you and implore you to be wise with your actions and how you deal with children and young people. We are called to be above reproach. We have a policy in place to protect you as well as to protect our children here as we step forward with this.
This video will help equip our staff to recognize signs of abuse, report signs of abuse, and to respond to our campers or staff if we think there is a sign of abuse. Finally, this video will encourage you to live above reproach. We never want our staff to be accused of abuse. Abuse has a powerful effect on a child. A child's brain requires a strong foundation in order for it to develop appropriately. When children experience ongoing abuse, their foundation does not develop properly, and this causes a child great distress. If you recognize the signs and symptoms of abuse and there is intervention, then the foundation can actually be repaired. So what are the signs of abuse? A child is in need of intervention when there is any sign of abuse. No one is responsible to prove this endangerment. We are simply responsible to report it. Here are some red sign flags of abuse. Extreme behaviors or emotions. Fearful, withdrawn, or overly aggressive behavior. Unusual sexual knowledge. Draw back or flinch from physical contact. There are 4 types of child abuse: neglect, physical abuse, emotional abuse, or sexual abuse. The signs of abuse are so complex, and one sign does not mean that a child is being abused. They often come in clusters. Here are some possible signs to be aware of. Neglect occurs when a child does not receive the necessities of life. A child may complain of being really hungry.
I'm so hungry.
But we just ate, Sonia.
But I'm always hungry. Every day I'm hungry.
A child may reveal that he is home alone often and without adult supervision.
So who's with you when that happens?
No one's home with me when that happens. I'm always home alone taking care of my little sister.
Physical abuse is when a child is physically injured and there is substantial question about the injury. Signs of physical abuse. Unexplained bruising or explanation of the bruising that does not actually match the injury.
Well, what happened here, Kaylin?
I don't know.
Where'd you get that bruise?
I don't know.
The child may cover themselves despite the weather. A child may be wary of physical contact. Sexual abuse is when a child is inappropriately exposed or subjected to sexual contact or behavior. Sexual abuse is inappropriate touching in genital areas, when a child is forced to touch another in sexual areas. Sexual exploitation is when a child is endangered in sexual activity or is forced to perform sexual activity with another child, or is forced to perform sexual activity for the gain of food, money, or basic necessities of life. It may also be when a child is forced to create pornography. The signs of sexual abuse are self-harm, talk of new or older friends, mood swings, or advanced sexual knowledge. Emotional abuse is when a child's mental or emotional functioning or development is impaired by rejection, deprived cognitive stimulation, inappropriate criticism, threats, expectations, humiliation, or accusations. exposure to someone with mental or emotional conditions, or chronic alcohol or drug abuse. A student may show the following signs of emotional abuse: overcompliant, overly emotional, stomach aches or headaches that cause the child to withdraw often, self-harming or suicidal thoughts or behaviors. So what do we do if we suspect abuse? It is okay to get curious and ask questions, but these questions must be open-ended.
How did that happen?
Can you tell me about that?
How are you doing, Callie?
These questions open the door for more information and allow the child to just talk. Use your gut instinct. You do not have to prove anything. The proving abuse is up to social services. Full disclosure is actually really scary for a child or teen. 95% of the abusers are actually someone that the child is very familiar with and may be close to. They may have mixed feelings in even discussing the situation. There are 4 keys to responding. Remain calm and just listen. A child who feels supported or safe will have greater success in recovery. It also provides assurance that the child has not made a mistake. This is the best thing to do. Number 2, go slow. You actually don't have to have all the answers. It's okay to say, I don't know. Just listen. Tell me more about that. Number 3, be supportive. Let campers or staff members know they are not in trouble. They are safe and have done what is right.
Thank you for sharing, Nate. You're not in trouble, and we will try to help you.
Tell the child or teen that you believe them and you are there for them. Please note, you cannot keep a secret and you cannot determine what will happen to the abuser. Pray with the camper.
Can I pray for you?
It is the law that you report any concerns. Social services will determine what happens after. A camper may talk to someone besides their cabin leader. Please redirect them to the cabin leader or go immediately to the cabin leader or discipleship director so that they can follow up on the situation. Number 4, get the essential facts. Once you believe there is reason to believe there may be abuse, jot down any information you have received on a piece of paper. What do you do if a child exposes abuse or you do suspect abuse? If you do suspect abuse, please just allow the child to talk. You are free to ask open-ended questions, but not leading questions. Even a question like, "Then what did your dad do?" is leading the question or leading the child to respond. We must ask open-ended questions. Tell me more about that. Tell the child that you do believe them and you will be here to support them. Again, please note, you cannot keep secrets. It is the law that we report concerns and social services will move after that. This next part of the video will discuss how you can live above reproach and how you can live to avoid any question of abuse. Titus 2 verse 7 and 8 says, "In everything set them an example by doing what is good. In your teaching show integrity, seriousness, and soundness of speech that cannot be condemned, so that those who oppose you may be ashamed because they have nothing to talk about that is bad." Paul was counseling the fellow believers to be wise with their actions and to live above reproach. We don't want anyone to even have a hint of abuse in your actions. We are also reflections of God's love, and I implore you to be wise so that we are representing God wisely and with wisdom. 1 Thessalonians 5:22 says, "Avoid every kind of evil." Matthew 18 says, "But whoever causes one of these little ones who believes in me to stumble, it is better for him that a heavy millstone be hung around his neck and that he be drowned in the depths of the sea." We do not want you to be accused of what you did not do. SABC sees great value in teenagers or university students building relationships with those who are younger than them. Our staff is trained to build healthy relationships. How should staff respond if a camper is seeking more than friendship with a staff member or volunteer? The staff member will be moved to a different area of our program. Every effort will be made to limit contact between that camper and the staff member. We recognize that this type of relationship is unacceptable, and we want to protect our staff. We want the camper to ensure that they recognize this type of relationship is unacceptable. What will happen if the staff member or volunteer is acting inappropriately? The staff member, camper, or volunteer will be asked to leave. Although we want to journey with our campers, staff, and volunteers, we must protect the camp. What are the rules about campers, staff, or volunteers of the opposite sex being in each other's rooms, cabins, or tents? No campers, staff members, or volunteers are allowed to be in rooms, cabins, or tents of the opposite sex. This is deemed inappropriate, and the camper, staff member, or volunteer will be asked to leave. What are the rules regarding people of the opposite sex sleeping in mixed groups? We do not allow unmarried people to sleep in mixed groups. During campouts, male and females are separated into different areas to sleep. Can staff sleep in the same bed, both for same and opposite sex? We do not allow unmarried people of same or opposite sex to sleep in the same bed. Every camper, staff, and volunteer are given their own bed, and this bed is to be used for that week only by that person. What is the policy about staff and campers sharing bathrooms? At all times, staff must ensure that they are using the area free of campers, or that there are more than one adult in the room. Support staff should always seek to use staff washrooms. There are 3 places to touch a camper safely. One is on the shoulder, in the middle of the back, or on the hand. All these 3 areas are safe touching areas and can still ensure a child feels loved and concerned for. Our prayer is for each of our staff members to be shining examples of Christ's love. This means we want you to be supportive of campers and other staff members, but there must be clear boundaries. We really want to prevent there being any question of your conduct. In all cases, if you have any concerns or suspect any form of abuse, please go to your team leader. We don't expect you to journey alone, and we want to be able to walk you through the steps that will occur afterwards. Also, please know we are praying for you, that you would have great wisdom in all situations.